Hey guys, Misha Turtle Island here, and I brought you a deal the other day about Xbox Series X at 575. I think that's still going, but Xbox is announcing they're increasing the price effective August 1st, 2026. So this is kind of an updated video on the deal that we brought you before. I think that's still going at Target, Walmart, maybe Amazon and the like. So check that out if you still want one of these. But now this is quite a stark increase. So let me just kind of read the basics here, and then we'll get into it for a bit. So effective August 1st, 2026, we'll be updating prices worldwide. The price of Xbox consoles will increase by $100 for 512 gigabyte models and $150 for 1 terabyte models. We will also be sunsetting our 2 terabyte model. So I want to pause for a second there, guys. That's important. A couple of things to learn from that. First off, if you look at the manufactured suggested retail price for the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte, that's usually $650. Why we brought up the deal for $575 was because it was knocking $75 off this. So that deal is not, going to be a thing moving forward. The normal pricing was $650. So I'm reading this, and that tells me that the Xbox Series X 1 terabyte model is going to be $800 moving forward. Moreover, the kind of the 25 years of Xbox anniversary edition, the green clear one that was announced for this fall. Guys, that's an Xbox Series X 1 terabyte model with a disk drive. So that model is going to be what, $800 as well? I have to imagine it's going to be around the same price. Now, I think that's probably going to sell out no matter what, but still, that's quite a bit of sticker shock. I don't know though if you're looking at the PS5 Pro, that's priced around $900, and then we saw the Steam Machine is priced at about $1,000 without a controller, and up to $1,500 with the 2 terabyte. Maybe Microsoft isn't actually like doing that crazy of a move here, but to me, an $800 console starts to become very, very expensive. Lastly, before we move on, the sunsetting our 2 terabyte model. That is that's interesting to me. So they're not going to be selling 2 terabyte models moving forward. It's not just, guys, the RAM prices. It's hitting things with storage as well. The kind of the AI, the data centers, everything like that. If you try to get external hard drives, SSDs, guys, right now, look at the markets. Significantly more expensive versus a few years ago. So while we continue with their statement, and then we'll dig into a few other thoughts on this. So last October, we increased Xbox console price by $20 to $70 in the US. We hoped another price increase would not be necessary, and we have spent the last several months working with suppliers on options. Unfortunately, console storage and memory prices have increased more than 2.5x, and we expect another doubling by the fall of 2077. The entire consumer electronics industry is struggling with the current components crisis, but the effects are particularly hard on consoles. Unlike phones, computers, speakers, and other consumer devices, consoles are typically not sold at a profit, but instead at a loss, but instead for less than they cost to make. So let's pause there quickly. A few things. Yes, that's true that they increased prices by 20 to 70 US dollars last year. That price increase was actually met with quite a bit of criticism. Why is Xbox in this situation where they have to keep increasing their prices so much? So why I was reading the other day, guys, is that Xbox, compared to Sony and some other competitors, had not bought nearly as much RAM and memory and other storage and console storage inputs as their competitors. So that caused them to end up being more vulnerable to the RAM apocalypse that we're currently facing. So Microsoft overall and Xbox were more vulnerable, supposedly, than Sony and other competitors. That being said, though, Microsoft also essentially helped catalyze the rise of AI. They're one of the chief beneficiaries of sort of the rise in these data centers, their investment in OpenAI. So on one hand, it's like, they're saying that they can't keep the Xbox at a manageable price point because the RAM is increasing. But part of the reason the RAM is increasing is because Microsoft is such a big tech corporation that literally invests in the LLMs that are driving up the price of the RAM. So I'm not saying this is a statement on data centers or AI or anything in general. I'm just trying to be, in my opinion, as objective as possible of all of this, based on the information I'm hearing and kind of like, all the business stuff that's going in. Like, I understand the Xbox decision here if Xbox is in a vacuum, but at the same time, Microsoft is what? They're at least over $1 trillion in market capitalization. They're probably pretty comparable to Apple, so they're probably over $2 trillion. Someone Someone check me on that. I'm going off of what I think it is, probably around 2 trillion, right? Something like that. Either way, if it starts with a T, guys, in your market value for our company, T, not B, T, trillion, TRILLION, trillion. If it starts with a T in trillion, like I'm less sympathetic to this argument. And I think, though, this gives you a few things to wonder about longer term of Xbox, and also some statements that have been made and some rumors about whether Xbox is planning to where Microsoft is planning to divest from Xbox. So some people are talking about how they're going to sell Xbox. They're not really talking about that, but I think I don't think they're really talking about doing that as much. I think what Microsoft is going to try and do, though, is spin off Xbox. So I think overall they expected Xbox to be a better part of their, business case moving forward years ago. And in many cases, I feel like Xbox actually was innovative in some regards with, some of the offerings that they have with the Game Pass strategy. I actually think some people are very critical of Game Pass, but I think before the price rise in Game Pass, it actually was like, a really interesting model and very attractive, for a decent amount of customers. Like, I think a lot of people actually did get a pretty good deal on that. Now, though, you're looking at all of this and it's like, well, you have to pay $800 and Game Pass is what, $30, and now they're cutting the price again to $20. It's hard to keep up with all of this. It makes it so, like, I feel like as an Xbox customer, there's so much cool stuff, but you're gonna be in uncertain times moving forward. In addition, I think there's some shifts more towards PC moving forward. That's another rumor. There's not really going to be like as much of a traditional Xbox line of consoles versus more of a computer type system moving forward. All of this makes it really up in the air. That being said, though, I'm testing out the Xbox that I picked up from Target the other day. I'm going to see how it is. If I don't like it, I'm going to return it. We'll see. Anyway, let's continue with the actual statement here. Just a long video, I know. Today, we are sharing programs to make Xbox consoles more accessible. Buy now, pay later. We've made it easier for players to use buy now, pay later options on Xbox hardware purchases through Microsoft stores, making it possible to break up your payment into predictable, short-term, interest-free installments. So essentially, like Klarna or PayPal, buy now, pay later type thing. I guess you kind of have to. If consoles are becoming more and more like the price of a luxury good, where it's over $1,000 almost for some of these, I guess a lot of people are using that. Interest-free financing, players purchasing eligible Xbox hardware through Amazon can take advantage of 0% APR financing for 12 months, giving players more flexibility with lower monthly payments and more budgeting control. So honestly, if you do have good credit and you want this, it's not like some people are like never take out debt or whatever. It's like, well, if you can get 0% APR loan here, essentially over 12 months, and you put the money in like, other things, even just a savings account that returns on it, right? Like, it's not the worst option. And if your credit's not good enough, it's not going to get approved anyway. So it's only if you're going to get approved. Again, a lot of this stuff is like, a lot of people are like, oh my God, who's going to take out a loan to get an Xbox? Because the people that are going to take out a loan to get an Xbox are probably actually just going to be people that are rich and pretty well off. If I'm just thinking about it, honestly, because is there going to be people that should not be getting approved for a loan to buy an Xbox? Honestly. Or it's going to be people that have such good credit and money in the bank where they're like, I could spend the $800, or I could just spend this over 12 months and, get an extra $800 to put in the stock market or just like in a CD or whatever. Anyway, let's finish this up. Previously played consoles. We are working with retail partners on new programs to provide previously played consoles at lower prices. Players who are ready to upgrade or no longer use their console will be able to trade it in with participating retail partners for cash or store credit. Those consoles will then be made available at lower prices for players. So, okay, the pitch is that they'll be offering the used consoles at a lower price. I don't know though if you're increasing the prices of the new consoles and the Rand Packos is that bad though. It's kind of like used prices should follow, right? Now, if you make it so much more efficient where it causes all the market to decrease in price for used consoles, cool. But you know what happened with cars? New car prices went up. Also, used car prices were going up. So it's like, the same. Anyway, certified refurbished consoles. Xbox certified refurbished consoles are available at Microsoft stores for up to $100 off MSRP. I don't know how good Xbox certified refurbished consoles are relative to other companies. Someone else that has more experience than that can probably talk about that better. Xbox Series X remains the lowest cost way for console players to enjoy the biggest hits this year, including Assassin's Creed, Black Flag Black Flag Resynced, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Gears of War E-Day, Grand Theft Auto 6, Halo Campaign Evolved, and Madden 27. Madden 27. Anyway, guys, that is the Xbox updated console prices. My name is Misha Turtle Island. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share. We'll be definitely having more thoughts on all of this. And once again, if you did enjoy, or if you think you would enjoy the Xbox Series X, I think it is available still at Walmart and Target if you're watching this video right when it was uploaded. So check that out. Make your own decisions for yourself. There's no ad link here for any of that. So buy it if you want. I won't get any money if you do.